What's up everyone, my name is Achilles and welcome to the channel. I seem to notice kind of a pattern lately. You see, y'all seem to really like when I do tokusatsu videos as opposed to, you know, let's say gaming videos, just throwing a name out there. Not technically, it's gaming videos. You guys don't really like gaming videos from me. I decided why not start putting out more tokusatsu content. So I teamed up with Pronghorn Heroes to create the Tokusatsu World Tour. Now, I'm gonna show you the first episode after this little spiel here, but for every episode after that, you have to go one of three places. You either have to come to my Twitch channel at 6 p.m. Pacific time every Tuesday night, and you can get involved in the chat, or check it out Wednesday morning at Pronghorn Heroes YouTube channel, or Wednesday morning you can listen to it any way you want to on any podcast service possible, imaginable. It's on MySpace, go check it out, don't quote me on that. It was kind of an idea we had rolling around because Toei put out their Toei Tokusatsu World YouTube channel, and we were just like, man, there are tons of tokusatsu out there that we don't know about, and that we figured that you guys probably don't know about as well. And we wanted to get into more of that stuff, and we wanted to share it with y'all, and I figured, hey, since we've had such a fun time watching Rider and Sentai together on Tuesday nights, why not just put a little more in there? Just sprinkle it on. So after countless messages and nights talking out on the phone, we came up with one condition. It has to be free tokusatsu. And that's the catch here. For as long as I can remember, I've always had to go to Facebook groups or torrent sites or some down low, sketchy internet sites to watch my tokusatsu. And that's not how you bring in new fans. I want it free, available. That means shoutfactory.tv, that means YouTube, that means Tubi, anywhere you can find it. Those are the episodes we're watching, single episodes, so it's not like you have to watch a whole season to listen to one podcast. In fact, the podcast I'm about to show you is Jiraiya episode 1. It's on Toei Tokusatsu World's YouTube channel. The link is in the description if you need it. I won't give anything else away besides, you know, throwing it to the podcast that gives everything away. I just wanted to make y'all aware. If you can go subscribe to the podcast anywhere possible, leave reviews and everything, go subscribe to Pronghorn Heroes YouTube channel, come follow me on Twitch. It would all help out. Wherever you want to watch it your way as long as you're enjoying it. So without further ado, enjoy the Tokusatsu World Tour, episode 1. What's up everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Tokusatsu World Tour. How is it going? My name is Achilles. I am one of your hosts, joined by my best friend in Tokusatsu. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Oops, say that one more time, sorry.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Jem. I run a little channel called Pronghorn Heroes. Thank you so much for checking us out tonight. Let's have some fun.
First episode jitters. Sorry, I forgot to unmute you for a second. But like I said, this is the first episode of the Tokusatsu World Tour. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are. If you're watching us here on Twitch live every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time for you, or you can watch it whenever you want at youtube.com/pronghornheroes. That is Jem's YouTube channel, or you can just listen to us if you want in your car ride home or anything, because we are on every podcast site ever made to man. You heard it here. I said it. Go find us on MySpace. It is there. I promise you. Don't actually go look. We got a creator page and everything on MySpace. Thank you so much, Tom. But Jem, what do we do on this podcast?
Well, so I think one thing that we're going to do is that we're going to talk about tokusatsu, which is one of my favorite things to do. And we're going to be talking about shows that you can specifically find on places where it's available for free, like the Toei World Tokusatsu YouTube channel, or Tubi, which is an app that you can download on your Roku TV or your PS4 even, which is super sick.
Yeah, guys, the Toei Tokusatsu, or the Tokusatsu World podcast name is obviously a play on Toei Tokusatsu World's site on YouTube, but our goal with this is to just review things that are free and available to everyone. No torrenting needed, no LimeWire needed. I guess it's the only other place. But
LimeWire, throwing it back.
things that are free and available to you all. And yeah, talk a little bit
Wait, I need
about
to know,
Toku.
dude.
Go for it.
I need to know, does anybody in the chat or anybody listening to this know what FrostWire or LimeWire is? I just need to know, you know?
Okay, I'll go one
God.
ahead of that. Before LimeWire, I had
Please.
I had a downloader client named Kazaa, and that's where I downloaded like all my Dragon Ball and Power Ranger AMVs on.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. I've
But-
never heard of it, so you got me there.
You never heard of Kazaa?
No. Kazab? No.
Kazaa was like the OG AMV downloader to me.
Oh.
There was other stuff on it, like adult stuff, but like for me, it was like
Right.
full on Linkin Park, Dragon Ball Z, download it.
That sounds like my time. Why wasn't I there? I love Linkin Park.
Zay brings up a good point in the chat. If you were just finding this podcast out of some crazy happenstance, Jem, what is Tokusatsu?
So the way I like to describe it to all my friends and family is that it's basically drama with special effects, and that could be vague. I could be talking about a show, or I could be talking about a fight, but I mean, fights can be dramatic. I think Tokusatsu in itself is just like special effects or made with special effects, and obviously not just like visual effects like CGI or stuff like that. I'm talking about explosions, I'm talking about props, suits, the whole nine.
Yeah, a lot of people from the US might know it as obviously Power Rangers is the most popular, but even things like
Absolutely.
Godzilla fits in there and everything. Ultraman for the more like niche culture of America. But that's what Tokusatsu is, and Toei Tokusatsu World is a YouTube channel that went live a few months ago, probably a few months into quarantine, that just has everything. Like they just posted tons of stuff from the
So much.
80s, from the 90s, from the 70s, which we're going to get into. Zay says more practical effects than CGI. Yes, but it does use a lot of CGI, which we're going to get into with the show.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, especially nowadays. But something that I didn't know watching the show that we watched is they used it way back when too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Gosh, yeah. I can't wait. I wait to talk about the fire scene.
God, I have that in my notes. Firefight.
Yeah, dude, I literally have like an asterisk next to fire scene. So that's all I need to talk about that.
Let's not dilly-dally any longer then. Let's talk about
Oh my god.
Jiraiya. I have some information pulled up, Jem. So, Senkai Ninja
Jiraiya.
Sen Jiraiya, also known as the translation of World Ninja War Jiraiya, is a Japanese television series that aired from January 24th of 1988 to January 22nd of 1989, lasting 50 episodes. It was the 7th installment in Toei's Metal Hero series franchise, and the series centers around a young ninja master named Toa Yamaji, who must face against numerous other ninja masters from different parts of the world by donning a special armor to become his alter ego, Jiraiya. And despite not being shown
Jiraiya.
or adapted in America, Jiraiya was given the name Space Sheriff Skyfire in Power Rangers Ninja or Super Ninja Steel.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's kind of a beautiful segue into my first introduction to Jiraiya, which wasn't even this. Not unfortunately, I almost said unfortunately, but I had seen him in a episode of Shuriken Sentai Ninja, which is the Japanese season of Ninja Steel. For those that didn't know, but that episode was my first time seeing Metal Hero Jiraiya, and like it was so cool, but I had no idea who he was. So it's very nice to start off this journey with that episode and this hero.
Was that your first Metal Hero ever?
No, I mean, if we're talking about Japanese metal heroes, I would probably say Gavan, only because I had seen him in a Gokaiger movie, Uchukeiji Gavan, and like there's new Gavan movies that came out a couple years ago. So that reboot of that series kind of got me a little bit interested in the metal heroes. So like Gavan, Charivan, Shider. I've seen those next generation movies, but I haven't seen like the older seasons. So if you get to them, I'll be excited about it.
I think those are the main three that I've heard of outside of like regular Toku. When people talk about Sentai, Rider, Ultraman, the big three, I think the next one on the list, even in terms of historical Toku, would be the Space Sheriff series.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if not only for like American viewers, because they use, I believe it's, and I know someone will correct me, but I believe it's Scheider that they use footage from for I believe it's VR Troopers. And I know VR Troopers uses a couple different seasons for that season. So, you know, if you've ever been into VR Troopers, that's Metal Heroes.
Yeah, they jump around a lot. And Fox, king of Tokusatsu back in the day, VR Troopers, Mystic Knights, Masked Rider, Beetleborgs, all that stuff.
Mystic Knights. Oh my god, dude. Love that.
Tete says Jiraiya is a top 2 or 3 Toku in Brazil. Really?
Oh, that's awesome.
That's crazy. Like you were saying,
really cool.
Your first introduction was Ninja. I'd never heard of Jiraiya before. This is my first time watching it or anything. So let's get right to the episode, because
let's do it.
Did you feel like we watched 2 episodes of a show?
I felt like we definitely watched an episode and a half, because like they could have cut it off way earlier than it did, but I guess they wanted to have a cliffhanger.
Dude, that episode was really long. Like, and it was a regular 23 minutes, normal Toku episodes. It felt like so much happened in that episode.
Dude, I'm not even gonna lie. It probably felt longer for me because I kept having to rewind my first watch of it because I was eating. So like I would look down, eat my food, and then I would realize that like a minute or two had passed. So I kept having to rewind scenes. So like dude, it took me.
So you watched a whole ass movie then?
Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah, I went in knowing, and this is something me and Jem talk about all the time. We try to be not negative about stuff. We try to be pretty positive about Toku, which you're going to hear a lot of on this podcast, but that doesn't mean we won't be critical of things. And we'll keep in mind that this was made in the 80s or the 70s, or the 80s, one of the two.
Yeah.
For all the shows on here, I went in expecting super cheesy graphics, super cheesy story, super cheesy, and we got a little bit of that, but like, man, this was kind of like a big budget premiere, it seemed like.
Yeah, dude, there were like right off, like you were saying, I had expectations that were like exceeded after like the first 5 minutes, because already they were showing stuff that I was like, oh, okay. And then they started getting into like backstory and lore and stuff, and I was like, oh wait, oh hold on, okay. So like very, very interested, very quick. But yeah, dude, I wasn't expecting, and just because like I love listening to like Toku scores, I wasn't expecting the music coming from it either, and like it felt very that time, you know. And I love that.
You said you wanted to talk about the
vibes.
You said you wanted to talk about the intro song.
Oh my god. I don't have much to say about it, but like the intro just got me hype, and then they come in with that Jiraiya, no 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 no. Dude, I was literally just sitting by myself because Sophia wasn't home at the time. I was just sitting by myself, and I was just like,
it is exactly what I'm
I was just wailing my arms.
Just rocking out. That's fine on the podcast. It is exactly, the intro song is exactly what I am accustomed to in old Toku music. Like you hit that name as many times as you can, and you hit it big at the end.
You got to make sure that they know it by the time you see the character for the first time.
This is the first episode, and I knew it was Jiraiya the 30 seconds in. Like, let's go. All right, this is who we're watching.
Oh my gosh, I agree with that, dude. That's so funny.
Go for it.
I was just gonna say, because like thinking about even like older Sentai around then, like I just mentioned, Jetman, they say Jet like at least 15 times in the first like 3 seconds. So. Like, you have to make sure that people know what they're watching, I guess.
You're like, oh, okay, this is a new season of Sentai. I understand now.
I get it.
So going into the show, the cheesiness right off the bat, I need to point out the dad throwing the throwing star into like the bird henchman thing, and nobody mentioning it again in the first 3 minutes of the show. Like, The dad looks like he's gonna kill his son with this throwing star, throws it out the window. It hits this bird henchman that's sitting there. Bird henchman falls, and they all see it. They're all like, oh, and the bird henchman's like, oh, scrambles away. They cut to them having lunch the next scene.
Yeah, they're back at like their apartment, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, where everybody lives at. But like, we're not going to talk about that attack that just happened because it was real.
Yeah, and they don't acknowledge it until like 3 minutes later when their relic starts lighting up.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, stuff's going down. But like, it was also going down 5 minutes ago when you tried to kill this bird.
He didn't even say anything. I honestly hadn't noticed that, but you're right. That's true.
It was so odd to me.
God. Oh wow. That's so funny. I wanna quickly point out that the little boy in that series is Boy from Zhu Ranger, who, like, obviously if you don't know what Zhu Ranger is, it's the Japanese adaptation of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but he's the Yellow Ranger in that season.
Oh, is he really?
When I saw him I was like, that's Boy from Zhu Ranger. What is he doing here? And like, then I looked into a little bit more, and he was 15 when he was the Yellow Ranger in Zhu Ranger. So like, that's insane.
Looking like a full man.
Seriously. I just thought it was cool that he was in like another Toku.
Teled said, is the dojo in the apartment? Is it in the apartment? I don't think so.
No, I don't think it was.
The outside looks like two different places to me.
Yeah, it definitely did. It looked like it was like a separate thing. And if anything, if it was like the same building, I would say it was like downstairs or something. Yeah, it definitely looked different.
The other thing that I thought was awesome and cheesy about this show was the suit reveal to the son.
Dude, okay. You know what? I'm so glad you bring that up. Because there's that moment where they're reading like the note because the daughter got kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
And Toha like finishes reading the letter, and then the dad's like presses the button, thing comes down, and like it just seems so badass that he was just like, "Oh, my daughter, bet."
First of all, like, this dad has like 8 secret compartments in his apartment that none of his kids have ever seen before. One of them being, if you didn't watch the show, one of them being a sort of stairs to an attic, like a ladder to an attic that comes down.
Yep.
And Jem makes it sound way cooler than it actually was.
That's what it felt like to me.
The suit slid down the stairs like on a sled. Like somebody had a sled on a rope and was pushing the suit down, or like lowering the suit down the stairs. And the suit is stacked up like a suit would be if you just saw some ninja suit standing there, a suit of armor.
Yeah.
And it's like stacked up like that and slides down so slowly because I feel like they thought it was gonna fall. And the dad's like, you need to put this on.
Definitely.
And to me, like you said, watching it again, I'm like, that was so dumb and cheesy and I love it. But watching it at the time, I was like, hey, let's go. Like, suit up. Let's do this.
Oh my god. But now that you say that, where did he keep that suit when he like went on the mission? Like, where was that suit? Because he just out of nowhere, he's just like, all right, it's time. And then like you don't even see him like pull it out. It's just like the stock footage. Yeah,
Jiraiya doesn't have a belt, a changer, a sword, nothing that he carries with him.
Not even a backpack.
Not even a backpack. Dude shows up looking 90s as hell in his big ass jacket and everything. One thing I like is that he takes a ski lift up to the mountain where they are supposed to meet, and then they meet mid ski lift.
Yep. So something I will say about this scene is that this has to be the day for this actress who played Kay, the daughter. This has to be the day, and it's the first episode where she's like, hey, what are we doing today? And they're like, yeah, you're just gonna be hanging off the ski lift, and then we're just gonna lower you down little by little. And she's like, wait, what? Because like, you know, who
they're like, no, you're gonna hang there for 10 minutes in footage, which means you're gonna hang there for 2 hours in shooting.
And like, obviously, like, this is a production. We've been doing shows like this for a while. Like, I'm sure they have it covered, security, you know, whatnot. But for an actress, I'm sure that's the day where you're like, wait, hold on, I didn't know we were doing this.
Or this like, wasn't in my script read earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine if they had a pilot to this episode and that didn't happen, and then they filmed the actual episode, and she's like, wait, we didn't do this in the pilot. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So like when I saw her like getting lowered but like from the ski lift, I was like, friend, you have the bravery that I could never, because I'm so afraid of heights. I would not be able to, dude.
Yeah,
No
the
way.
show is big on stunts. And I thought that when I was watching the intro music too. I was like,
Yeah.
if there's one thing I learned from the Marvel Spider-Man like documentary thing, is okay, your intro has to have this big stunt that you're never gonna do in the series. Because they talked about it over and over again, him climbing the tower. And so when I saw they have those same shots at the beginning of Jiraiya where he's climbing the tower and stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's your big stunt. And then we got into the episode and I was like, oh no, like this girl's lowered off a ski lift, like people are falling from things. I know it's green screen, but like the birds flying seemed kind of big.
Yeah. No, I liked it a lot, dude. Honestly, I was taken back from some of the like practical things that were happening in the episode. Really cool.
Yeah, they kept it practical for the most part. Brings me to, we skipped over it, but let's go back a little bit. I think the summary of the series, the theme, I can't remember what to call it, the overall mission of this series, I think is really cool and one of the most unique I've seen in Tokusatsu, where it's like, hey, every ninja from the world about to converge on Japan for this one thing. Like, we're searching for this one artifact. And when they were naming all the ninjas going down the list, I felt myself getting, even though we're not going to watch the rest of the series, because a lot of it's not subbed, I felt myself getting so excited to see these ninjas in action.
Absolutely. Dude, I even wrote down, I didn't write down their names, but I wrote down what type of ninjas they were. And here's a few of them. Fire ninja, jail ninja, which was something.
Jail ninja was dope.
Yeah, he looked really cool. Castle Ninja, which is a ninja that we see in this episode, Baron Owl, who I cannot wait to talk about.
Castle Ninja,
and then,
yeah, we'll talk about him in a second.
Yeah, and then Butterfly Ninja, who also was in the episode a little bit.
All right, let's talk about my favorite character in this whole episode. Castle Ninja Baron Owl is a badass.
Shout out to Baron Owl.
Shows up.
I was not expecting this character.
It was not. He shows up and he's like working for the bad guys, and then he steals the thing and he's like, psych, actually I'm not working for you. Which I think is what made it really cool to me, is like you think of these old shows and you're like, oh, it's good guy versus bad guy, two sides and that's it. And instantly in this first episode, Baron Owl's like, oh no, I'm in this for myself. Like there are more than just those two sides. All these ninjas coming, absolutely. Some of them might not be on your side.
Oh yeah. I liked that he had some like familiarity with like Jiraiya's fighting style, as if he knew Tetsuzan.
Oh yeah, he knew his dad. He was talking about it.
Yeah. So like that seemed interesting. Obviously, like what's up with that? But the fact that I'm obviously have to bring it up. The fact that he spoke English was like something that I was not expecting. Just because I don't know, stuff like that I feel like doesn't happen often. So for us to just randomly pick an episode of Togu where you have a character speaking English, I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, but, just out of nowhere.
Interesting nonetheless. Yeah, absolutely. And two characters that probably don't speak English. So, I mean... Yep.
Shout out to him for being the least ninja-y of the ninjas. Decked out in all King Arthur's court gear.
Felt like a knight straight out of the book.
Yep. He looked exactly like we were talking about last week. We were talking about Dino Fury and how Zato just grabbed some medieval times gear. That's exactly what Baron did in this episode.
Literally.
Just grab some medieval times props.
Family outing.
Yep. Rode a horse this whole time. It was great. My second favorite character, though, is a character that they dedicate about 2 minutes of the episode to super randomly, and that is Crystal Ball Guy. I don't remember his name, but he is walking around with a crystal ball.
Henry. His name is Henry.
His name is Henry.
Henry. Oh my god.
Henry shows up in the absolute climax of this episode.
Literally at the worst.
Just walking around.
Oh my god.
Go take the lead. Go for it.
Dude, when I was watching it, the first time, I don't even think it like crossed my mind, but like it was just like, all right, yeah, it's happening. I watched it today with Sophia, and she was like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Wait, you're right. Who is that?" But what I caught from it was that like he basically had this like crystal ball, and he was like searching, I guess, for ninja or like the monsters. Or he was searching for something because then like he trips and like stumbles upon like one of those like ninja henchmen or something.
Mhm.
And like I think he talks to it or something, and they're like walks away. I can't
He
remember.
screams and gets scared.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Delande said he has to come back, right? That's what I feel like. They dedicated 2 minutes to this character at the worst time. There's no way he's not a regular character of the season.
Yeah, exactly. And because I hadn't noticed him the first time, when I did notice him, I was like, all right, no. Like, even if we don't watch the rest of the series, I have to go back and see what's up with Henry. Because I wrote his name down specifically because I was like, we have to talk about Henry because it was the most random part of the episode.
I was just like, whatever this is, it's going on for way too long to just be random.
Absolutely. That's so funny.
I was sitting there. Yeah, I was sitting there and I was like, wait, okay, a second bird trips over him. Why is this still happening?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Shout out to Henry real quick because I love that. I love randomness like that for real.
What's up to everyone just coming in? Gokai Fire, Matthew. We are talking about Jiraiya right now. This is the Tokusatsu World Tour podcast. We will get to Sentai, Dino Fury, and Saber right after this. But go on.
Absolutely. I was gonna say, can we please talk about what I thought was the coolest scene in this episode? Actually, let's say second coolest scene, when the father and the villain Dokusai like meet for the first time. There was like some tense like minute where there was just nothing happening, just like camera angles happening, like some panning. And I was waiting for it. So when they finally kicked into that battle, like I was really excited to see like both heads of like the good and evil sides just like battling. The first episode, I loved it. It was kind of like, just to throw it back real quick, when watching Ninja Storm in that first episode, Sensei battles Lothor when they're like invading the Ninja Academy. So like it just felt very like reminiscent of that. And I guess they're both ninja seasons. I didn't even think of that. But just the fact that like both head honchos were fighting in the first episode really just like set that like weight, I guess, that you need to like keep going. So I loved that.
I was joking about the father being really corny about stuff earlier, cheesy about stuff earlier. But honestly, the father has a lot of gravity, I feel like, that he brings to his whole role in the episode. Him giving the backstory of why this is happening, the meteor crash and everything, that just felt like, oh, okay, you need to listen to this because this guy is talking.
Yeah, dude, I replayed that part probably like 3 times, only because I had to make sure I knew exactly what he said, because I was like losing it, just because I was like, wow, this dude, the way he speaks is amazing. Yeah, just losing myself in his voice.
So when they get into the him versus the head bad guy, do you have his name written down?
Which guy?
The head bad guy?
Dokusai.
Yeah, when him and Dokusai pop up, like they said in the chat, you can feel the history there. And like he talked about it before, but when they see each other, and it's just like, oh, okay, like you said, it's a big fight feel. It's Splinter and Shredder, like right there going at it.
Happened.
Yeah,
something happened. It's like,
and then
dude,
go for it.
I was just gonna make a joke, but it's all right. No, keep going.
No, I wanted to talk about your favorite scene because I have a star next to this in my notes as well, and I know you do too.
Dude, the fire scene is absolutely insane. If only because it lasts for so long. Like, shout out to the stunt performers that had to deal with that fire. But also, like, they're lighting the water on fire.
Dude, they was so sick. As soon like the fire scene, you see it in Power. I like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers did that like 2 or 3 times. I was like, oh, this is dope. I remember this from my childhood. It felt like I got that nostalgic butterfly feeling. And then when they set the water on fire, I was like, oh shit, like stuff's happening now.
It honestly took me by surprise, and like I said, I watched it a second time with Sophia, and she was just like, whoa, just like a big spectacle, like was not expecting it, because everything at this point was either like very tame or just like cool to an extent, like the like we were mentioning her K being dangled by like the skylift, stuff like that was cool. But this scene, oh my gosh, was very cool. Also because like then it leads into like his finisher that's like also around fire. So like
Yep.
it was a great lead up to that, and I have to give them like hella props for that. I loved it.
Yeah, it was so good. Like you said, the stunt team just being there for that the whole time. These suits aren't the most intricate or anything, but like fighting in fire has to take some sort of toll on you, right? Like,
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially if you're in water, like suits and stunt work in water, I'm sure is difficult as it is. But then you have like the heat of flames as well.
yeah,
Huge props.
yeah. The whole ending fight, I feel, is so well done. Because there's also so much happening with the like you said, the firefight. Even right before that, you've got the chase down of Baron, and he's like, "Oh, this is a fake, by the way. Here, you can have it." And then the firefight happens, and everything just stops, and you're there. Like they hold on that scene for so long. The sword fighting is great. The martial arts that they're using, it's really cool. I love old style Toku shots like that because they last so long. Like it's not a bunch of cuts, if you know what I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I felt that so much.
Yeah, it all feels good. That's why we both have a star next to the firefight in our notes, because like
Dude,
when I think about this episode in 2 weeks, I'm gonna think about that.
definitely, it's one of those moments that like sticks with you, and I think that's like the best thing to do in a first episode, because then it makes you want to come back for the next week and whatever after that. You know how cool Jiraiya can get.
Yeah, I want to come back for the next week now.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
We talked about music a little bit ago.
Yeah.
I was talking about you're the music guy, you catch the music. I caught myself bopping along to the Henshin sequence music because it is straight up bubblegum pop 80s for some reason in this super ninja Japanese show, and I'm like, I'm about it. Let's go.
Dude, it was so fun. It definitely like changed the vibe. And like that's what you want from like that hero song or like whatever. It really like not only hyped me up, excuse me, but like you were saying, like it just brought that like feel to it, and like it perfectly like described how I was feeling, I guess. But yeah, dude, I agree with you.
I think it perfectly went with Toha being such a cocky bastard right before.
Yeah.
Because the whole time he's like, yeah, kill my sister. It's cool. I'm good. Like, go for it. She doesn't do dishes. Go for it. He straight up says she doesn't do chores
anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's like, go for it. Kill her.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised we haven't talked about this, but he's a maid for them, I guess. Like he does things. Like that's what I got from the apartment scene, dude.
I don't know, when the apartment scene popped up and he was cooking, I was like, wait, from what I know about like 70s, 80s Japan, like this seems out of place. Am I wrong?
Because like they also mentioned he's adopted, so I was kind of bummed for him. I was like, wait, what's up, dude? Like they have you doing all this stuff right now, and you're just trying to be part of the family.
He also gets his ass kicked the whole first scene, and then they instantly cut to him doing dishes.
The dad, and I get it. It's like you want to be hard on your student and your son, like it's hard, but like he treats him like garbage in that first scene. Oh my gosh! And like you can tell as soon as like Kay walks in, she's just like, "Hey, what's up, everyone?" And he's just like, "Kay, dude, sit down, watch us."
Yeah, he's like, my baby girl, I love you. Like, go ahead.
As soon as Toha says anything, he's just like, "Shut up."
He's like, "Hey, yo, shut up, dog. We're
yeah.
Square up, round 2, let's go."
Seriously. I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the dad was a character that maybe like passed away after a few episodes.
Or I
maybe,
would
like,
100% think that.
Because I feel like that is something that would drive both of them. And honestly, I'm surprised that Kay got in on some action, because for how old this Toku is, I wasn't expecting that.
A girl right off the bat?
Yeah, dude, in the first episode, just getting in on that action. Yep. Granted, she got kidnapped right after, but the fact that she got in on there was great for me. So like, it made me want to see more of her in the show, and maybe more of that. So I feel like maybe her dad passing away would like ignite that fire.
Yeah, I thought that was like I said, as soon as the kitchen scene happened, I was like, oh, this is kind of like a weird role reversal. And then yeah, when she started fighting, I was like, oh, maybe we're just the wrong ones. Like Saber just gets a girl rider this week, and Kay is kicking ass from the beginning of this series. Like, what went wrong? When did something fall off?
What happened? Who messed up the timelines?
Yeah, exactly. All right, we have to talk about the thing that we're probably going to talk about this every week. We're definitely going to talk about this every week. Let's rank Jiraiya's suit. Where does it land for you? What do you like about it? What you don't like about it?
Oh, you know what? Thank you, because in the ninja, he has like eyes. Like the suit has like an eye, like visor, but as we see in the show, he doesn't. Like his eyes are just like there. So like seeing that kind of bothered me a little bit, maybe because I saw the other version first.
Really? I watched the Super Ninja Steel version after I watched the episode, and I like the showing of the eyes more than the visor.
Really? That's so interesting. I don't know what it was about it that I just didn't like seeing his like eyes or like his skin like out of the suit. And that's weird for me because I love when villains do that. Like Tarantula from Kira Major having his mouth there. Like I love when that happens with villains. But for some reason I wasn't loving that with Jiraiya. However, talking about everything else, I love his suit. I love that like it's so different from like Metal Heroes suits. It really like captures that like ninja vibe in a very cool way. And his sword is so sick. Like it kind of just looks like a regular sword, but like when he holds it, I'm just like, that's his sword, and I want it. You know?
Needs to be a toy right now.
If I had to rank it 1 out of 10, I would probably give it a solid 8.
An 8. Biofan says 9 out of 10. Zay says he doesn't like the exposed fingers of the suit.
Oh,
Hooked on Henshin says you mean Sheriff Skyfire. Yeah, that's absolutely who we're talking about. Sheriff Skyfire.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat that I love that it's different from Metal Heroes, in that it's so ninja-y. Like I look at that and I'm like, oh yeah, that's obviously a ninja. Like that's obviously some sort of swordsman, some sort of Japanese swordsman. I love the exposed eyes. I don't know why. My whole life I grew up on visors, and I saw those exposed eyes and I was like, oh, that's different. I like it. Let's go.
Nice. Yeah.
It's simple. That's my biggest thing for it. Like y'all know that have been here on the stream before. I love simple suits.
I love simple designs.
I love simple suits, and especially for him, you see the designs of the other ninjas, and you're like, yeah, they don't need some crazy jetpacks or anything flying off. Like they're ninjas. Their suits serve a purpose, and they look old. I kind of like that too.
Yes, absolutely. I think my only complaint with the villain suits was that it did kind of look like they had like ninja clothing on, but then just like a toku head on, you know?
Yes, they did.
That was my only problem with it. So I'm glad that Jiraiya's whole thing was very like unison. Like the helmet matched the torso, matched the legs, matched the arms. Like everything was very cool and like it all fit together.
Yeah, some of the villains definitely were like, hey, we have this prop left over from this series. Throw it over here. Give it a new coat of paint and throw it over here.
Absolutely. They love retooling stuff.
But yeah, I like that each of the suits, Jiraiya's especially, kind of looks like it was passed down.
Like, okay, like somebody else wore the mantle of Jiraiya.
Yeah, not that he like didn't fit him in terms of like where it was, but it definitely looks like there's room to grow, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Yeah, what else do you want to talk about Jiraiya?
I'll check my notes here. I'm so glad we talked about Henry because, like, if we hadn't, this probably would have been the moment that we talked about Henry.
No, as soon as I saw one of my notes, I was like, why is this 2 minutes of this episode dedicated to this?
Yeah, dude. Absolutely love that. No, I mean, Honestly, if I said anything about like what my hopes for the show was, it would probably just be like to see the story arcs, hopefully, that like those other ninjas have, like the fire ninja and the jail ninja, because like I would hope that characters like that, just like we're seeing with, excuse me, Baron Owl. I hope that that eventually is like a couple episodes, and then you get like to another ninja, and like that's a couple episodes. I think that would be really cool to see. But other than that, God, I don't really have anything here.
Yeah, 50 episodes. I hope that each ninja gets their own like actual arc of the show.
Yeah,
As they showed in the first episode, they kind of mix and match it all around with Baron and
yeah,
Daisuke coming in at the same time. But I, from everyone they showed, especially Butterfly, is that her name?
yeah. Butterfly Ninja,
Butterfly Ninja.
Benny Kiba.
I hope her and Kay get some kind of face
Oh
off.
yeah.
Like as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, well, you have a girl that knows martial arts. Like, obviously, it's gotta go there, right?
yeah, I would love that. That would be really sick. Again, because like Kay threw down in this episode, she has to in other episodes. Like I would be bummed if she only threw down in the first episode.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like we said before, this made me want to watch more. Jiraiya has just such a cool story, like opening of, like I said, the ninjas all converging on Japan because some meteor crashed and we reburied it twice for some reason. Like they were like,
Yeah.
hey, this meteor crash, we brought it out and we're like, hey, not a good meteor, put it back in the ground. And then we found it again, put it back in the ground again, and then we hit it. Like,
Yep. I also like how that was their way of like introducing ninjas in this world. Like that's what the ninjas were for, right? Like protecting this thing called, I think I have it written down here, Paco, the Paco.
yes.
That was like the goal, right? You know, they wanted to either protect that or like have people that dedicated their lives to protecting this or fighting back whenever it was stolen or awoken or whatnot.
Yeah. Just to throw out some bad stuff because I don't think we've talked about much bad stuff.
No.
Oh, I want to, let's two different sides of it. The paragliding scene is one of the coolest scenes I've seen in Toku, in like old school Toku, where they all are on the gliders coming down. Cool as hell. The bird scene on the green screen, one of the dumbest scenes I've seen in Toku, because these birds stop and there's literally the sound of car brakes.
Oh my god. I was gonna say that it literally made me feel like I was watching Wizard of Oz, especially
Yes.
the paragliding scenes. Dude.
Oh, you didn't like the paragliding scenes?
It's not that I didn't like, because like I didn't mind them, you know, like I wasn't like, oh my god, what's happening? I was more of just like, hello, we are in the Wizard of Oz. I'm watching the Wizard of Oz now.
The villains are like on the mountain and they're like, we need to go down there. And they just
Yep.
cut to them paragliding down. And none of them are close shots. They're all super far away. So like none of the people on the paragliders are in suits or anything. Like you can totally tell they're just people.
Yep.
One of the, like, I just watched it. I was like, this is so cool. I love this.
Yeah, it was honestly one of those things where it's like, I wasn't expecting some stuff, you know, as far as like the fire scene and stuff like that, but this was something that I was expecting from like the cheesy realm of like Toku from the 80s.
Yeah. And this was at the beginning of the episode too. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's what we're getting. But I think it just went in such a good direction after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So final rating, where are you going to rate Jiraiya for Tokusatsu? We'll do 0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. Jiraiya episode 1. You know what? I'm going to give it, for the fact that there was moments that I will remember or talk about in the future, I will give it an 8.5, only because I don't think I'm going to give out a 10 at all unless a show like really wows me.
Challenge.
Yeah,
Straight up
so
challenge.
So I liked this episode a lot, so I'm gonna give it an 8.5. It was really nice. And honestly, like we've been saying, I would watch the second episode. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to say that for every show that we watch. I'm looking at you, Kabutak, because I don't know what we're getting into, man. But like I'm so excited to see other seasons, but I don't know if I'll feel the same way because I would watch the second episode. So I'll give it an 8.5.
I'm definitely right there. 8.5 kind of realm. I was going to say 8 and you said 8.5 and I was like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Maybe 8.5. But watching it going in, I think I had very low expectations. I'd one, never heard of it before. Two, kind of had this predisposed disposition of what Tokusatsu in the 80s and the 70s look like in my mind.
Right.
And I was really, really surprised by what we got after we were done watching, which is what this podcast is all about. Like me and you were like, hey, we want to watch old stuff. Let's go watch old stuff that we've never seen before and broaden our horizons. And
exactly, yeah, because I feel like,
oh, I was just gonna say like this being our first episode and getting that feeling out of it really gets me pumped for the rest of it.
oh, absolutely, for sure. I was just gonna mention that, like, I feel like that's something that fans should be doing now that it's like easily accessible with this YouTube channel. You should be like reaching out to these older seasons that like obviously had some interest if we're still seeing shows nowadays, you know?
Yeah, and like Metal Heroes went on forever. Rider Sentai still going on, so like there's so much history there that I'm like excited to just dig into it.
Absolutely.
Catch up on chat for a second because we're kind of far behind on it. Biofen says, love this format. Glad to watch new Toku with the community again. No problem, Biofen. Welcome. Hooked on Henshin says, hopefully she lasts longer than most Rider girls. I think he's talking about Kay.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope Kay lasts the whole time. I hope Kay's not the one that dies. If the dad dies, I'm like, all right.
Oh my. Dude, if I find out Kay dies, I'm gonna be super bummed, dude. I've been rooting for her this whole time.
Everyone wants us to watch Jew Ranger. Like we were literally talking about upcoming episodes before we went live.
That's awesome.
Jew Ranger might be upcoming. Who knows? We know
that might be perfect. That might be perfect, only if not because, you know, Zenkaiger is coming out, and one of the seasons that they homage in one of their characters is Jew Ranger. So I would love to get into that show. Sophie and actually are watching that season right now, but I can just, you know, erase it.
Zay also asked, did it have a low budget aspect? I think at the beginning it did, and I think towards the end it felt very like I was definitely like, oh, this feels like a really high budget premiere. And I don't know if that lasts throughout the whole season, but I got that feeling at the end.
Yeah, I think for me it was almost like a bait and switch. Not that they pulled one, but like for me, for my feelings, because I went into it with like, oh no, what's this budget gonna be like? Like, what kind of Toku am I about to watch? And like we've been mentioning, quickly, it just became something that I was like very into, and just like it seemed more familiar than it did strange or like something that was like out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, Jiraiya definitely feels like it would be at home nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it felt like I said Sentai. Felt like a Toku that like you can play right next to the Sentai and Rider right now, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I'm in. Let's get in. It's not like there are old stuff that I can go and watch clips of that I'm like, kind of has the dirt of the times on it, if that makes sense. I didn't feel that with this.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Jem, any last words? Oh, go for it.
Yeah, that's perfect. No, that's perfect. I feel like I might ask you this every week, but would you buy this season if they sold it on DVD? Would this be a purchase that you were like, I want to support Jiraiya, I want to support this, I would pick it up, have it on DVD?
If it meant more Metal Heroes, yes.
Yeah.
Because I think Metal Heroes is so far forgotten between Sentai and Rider and all the Toku that I think Metal Heroes was so their chance to be experimental, and I feel like we've kind of lost that. It's been picked up a little more recently, obviously with Zenkaiger and stuff, but I like this that experimental, like, hey, this is out there, but we're gonna try it for if just a season.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I like that. Yeah, I would pick it up.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. Especially just to see what happens with Kay. Like,
yeah.
Like I'm so interested that she got into it the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. So my overall final thoughts for this series, the whole series,
the one episode.
The one episode I watched. My final thoughts for this first episode is that like it really did a great job with like setting up the story, the background, the backstory for the plot MacGuffin that we have, and for the characters. I think it really sets Toha in like just like a direction that you would want to see him go into, you know, like he's just like thrown into the situation. And I feel like sometimes that's the best scenario. I don't really like when stuff are like, oh, you were always the chosen one, buddy. I feel like it's more cool when it's like, and I don't know if Jiraiya ends up being that way, but I liked how it was just like, hey man, my daughter's missing and like you're my son basically, so I can't give this suit to this little kid and I'm not gonna get in there, so you got it, buddy. So that's the only thing that I'll say about that. It was a really cool show, and I would definitely revisit it down the line with the series.
I'd never thought of the process of elimination in the dad's head of, I'm too old, this son's too young, guess it's you, adopted kid. Like, that just hit me when you were saying it. Guess it's you, adopted kid. All right.
I can't. I gotta give this other kid a couple years.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you just be Jiraiya until I can give it to my actual son, okay?
Yeah, not like he becomes a freaking yellow hero or anything.
My final thoughts, yeah, pretty much the same. Like we said a bunch of times on this podcast, I was very surprised. I went in with one idea, and it kind of played with that idea at the beginning with the cheaper scenes, the dad throwing the star at the like bird thing and nobody mentioning it is so bizarre in my mind, and I have no idea why that 10 seconds was there. But yeah, it quickly evolved into something that I was like, oh, I'm hyped. I was getting actively hyped when the music hit. I was like, let's go. I'm ready. The betrayal of Baron Owl. I was like, oh my God, like there's a third side here. Let's go. Yeah, overall, Jiraiya is a good time, I think. Jem, where can everyone find you?
Hey, check us out at Pronghorn Heroes. That's Pronghorn Heroes. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram starting to pick up a little bit. Thank you so much. Twitter, I don't know if I said that. But yeah, YouTube, obviously. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for checking out this live stream over at Achilles Twitch. If you've been watching us and chilling in the chat, we both appreciate it a lot. Trust me.
Yeah, and if you want to watch this, if you didn't get to watch the beginning, or if you just want to watch it every week, subscribe to Jem at Pronghorn Heroes on YouTube. This will be live there every Wednesday morning, I guess, around that time.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, Wednesday morning when we can get it uploaded and everything. This will go live there, or if you want to listen to it just as you're driving your car or something, download any app. It's on there, Tokusatsu World Tour. Just search it. Next week,
you can hear podcasts.
Yeah, and we want you guys to watch along too. So come in here, watch along, chat, ask us questions about the episode, give us your takes on the episode, because next week we are watching the first episode 1 of Winspector. Have you ever watched Winspector?
Spectre? No, I haven't. I know nothing about Winspector. So
neither do I. I was like, oh, this is a sick helmet. Let's watch this one. That was the thought process behind this.
If we're talking about the same, if we're talking about the same person, or they're the person that has like a purple suit, I think, right? Right.
I'm colorblind. I just know he has like a thing right here.
Okay.
There's like a comms unit.
Okay. I think it is Winspector, and I love purple heroes, so I'm excited to get into that Metal Hero series. It is a Metal Hero, right?
I believe it's a Metal Hero. Yeah, I just know I've seen figure arts of it everywhere. Every time I go to the store, they have a figure art of it, and it never sells, or it's like always there. So it must not be selling. So I'm hoping after we watch this, I'm going to be like, hey, I definitely want that. Let me go buy it. Because I've seen it for years.
It's about to get 2 new sales next week.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's going to stay there. We'll see.
Or it'll just stay the same. That's true.
Yeah, Biofan says purple is Jiban.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I think Winspector is red. I don't know. We'll find out next week. Next week is Winspector.
We will find out next week, baby.
I'm at Achilles everywhere. Go check out the YouTube channel. I upload new videos every Thursday and quick reviews of stuff. And you can watch the podcast right here live. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, starting at 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. We watch new episodes of Tokusatsu, like tonight, the debuting Zenkaiger and Kamen Rider Saber episode 25 here tonight on the Twitch channel. So Jem,
Oh yeah.
thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, and I can't wait for next week.
I'm saying it like this isn't our
with
podcast. You're
Zenkaiju.
gonna be here next week. We're both. This is our
Yeah.
podcast.
I was, well, it's just I'm leaving now because you're gonna do your thing, watch these episodes, I was just gonna let you know, dude, you're in for a ride today. It's the best week. It's the best weekend that Superhero Time has had. So have a great time watching these episodes, and I'll talk to you after because we have to talk about these episodes.
I will text you right after.
Sick. All right, man. I will see you all later, Toku heads. Have a great night.
Have a good night, my man.